Hello, thank you for watching Syrian Eats. Today we are making a very famous Syrian recipe. It is called Kibbeh, which is made of bulgur wheat and meat, and it's also stuffed with meat and onions. And then we shape them into little ball-like shapes, and I'll show you how to do that. So I have here our meat, and it's beef eye of round, and this is one of the leanest meat that you can find. And it is perfect for the outer part of the kibbeh that we're going to mix with the bulgur. Now this is 2.33 pounds. For every kilo of meat, you need kilo of bulgur wheat. So the bulgur and the meat is going to be 1 for 1. So every kilo of bulgur, kilo of meat. Now this is fine bulgur. You need the fine bulgur, and this is the number 1. And make sure you get a kilo of that. So this bag is not a full kilo, so I finished it off with the bulgur that's in the bowl. We're gonna need some salt, allspice. I'm gonna start out with 1 large onion, and this is for the outer part of the kibbeh that we're gonna grind with the meat and the bulgur wheat. We may need another, but I'm gonna go ahead and start out with 1. I have 2.5 pounds of ground beef, which we're gonna use for the stuffing, and then I have 2 medium onions finely chopped. These are ingredients today, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this together. Also, I didn't mention we're going to need about half a stick of butter to start sauteing our onions and our ground beef. So first thing we did is cut the meat, cut all the fat if there's any fat on the meat, and then we're going to cut it in pieces like this so we can stick it into our meat grinder. Okay, so I put my bulgur wheat inside a strainer. We're going to wash it. We're not going to soak it. You want to make sure you wash it, because if you soak it, the kibbeh is not going to hold. It's gonna absorb some water. So we're going to wash it in some water, and then we'll start grinding it with the onion and the meat. So after we washed our bulgur, I strained it and put it inside a dish like this. And we're going to use 2 onions, not 1. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my onions like this so it can all be ready to grind. We're first going to grind just the beef by itself, and then we'll grind it again with the bulgur and the onions. So we're going to grind our beef separately, and then we're going to grind our bulgur and onions separately, and then we'll mix them together, and then we will grind them together. And now to start out, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of allspice and 2 teaspoons of salt. It may need more later on because we'll taste it, but this is what I'm going to start out while I'm grinding the bulgur and the onions. So this is how it looks after we put the bulgur and the onions in the grinder. We did not put the meat together with it. Okay, so after we grind the bulgur and the onions separately, we're going to mix it with our grinded beef, and then we're going to put it in there together. So I grinded the bulgur and the onions separate, and then I grinded the beef first, and now we're going to mix them together, and then we're going to go ahead and grind them again as a mix. And this is the color and texture that you want your meat, bulgur, and onion mixture to look like. And I'm going to show you now how we're going to shape them, fill them, and store them in the freezer. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and saute my onions and then my beef so I can make my stuffing to stuff the kibbeh. I went ahead and sauteed my onions and ground beef. I added about 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of allspice, and then 1 tablespoon of pomegranate molasses when you're all done. Roll these into balls in the same size so we can have the same size of kibbeh. And then we're gonna start hollowing it out just like this. Now I have my mom helping me today and she is a pro at this. If you can't do it this way, you can always just make it into a ball and stuff it. And of course, these are not cooked, these are raw. But what you can do is you can put these in the freezer and then you can fry them whenever you're ready to eat them. A bowl with cold water, and you can add some water to close any creases or to close it up a little bit, just like this. Plastic wrap, and I kept it in the plate, and this is how I'm going to freeze it, because if you do put it in the freezer bag, these are soft and you can lose the shape very easily. You can freeze them like this and then thaw them out before you want to deep fry them whenever you want to use them, or if you want to eat them fresh, you can just go ahead and deep fry them until they are golden brown and they are ready to eat. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video.